A few weeks back, I published a video about Bel Air's latest mega mansion spec home called Villa Siena. It's a 35,000 square foot house completed by developer Ardie Tavangarian and priced at $177 million. This house makes for the highest priced spec home we've seen in this part of California since the one. My original video was only reacting to that sizzle reel that the Aria Group YouTube channel put out, but I'm sure most of you guys have seen at this point that Enes has now posted a full-length walkthrough on his channel. What Enes posted is basically a 90-minute documentary on what I believe is one of the most over-the-top spec homes that we have ever seen. And today, we're gonna watch the highlights of this video together. The house has 8 bedrooms, it's got 24 bathrooms, it has more fire features than I could even count. The entire exterior is clad in natural materials. It features completely custom, one-of-a-kind window and doors throughout. I honestly don't love doing reaction style videos like this, you guys, because what I feel like it's doing is taking away from the original creator, in this case Enes, who spent tens of thousands of dollars and weeks producing this super high quality video. If you haven't watched his original video yet, then close out of this video, go watch Enes's first, and then come back to this one and you can see what I think about this crazy property.
At the end of the day, these buildings, they have no meaning without the actual people in it. It's all about their interactions to create that stage that perhaps they could be at their best.
Today we're visiting Aria Group's newest masterpiece, Villa Siena. A home that pushes the boundaries and is truly unlike anything we've ever seen.
The objective is not being a perfectionist. The objective is to create whatever you do with the intention of being perfect.
The fact that Enes got to sit down with Ardie for this video is actually pretty cool, because if you look back, he doesn't do a whole lot of press. So I was pretty stoked to see that we got to actually hear Ardie's thought process and perspective in this video.
Welcome to Villa Siena, everyone. We have a really special tour ahead of us. So many different architectural details, features, amenities, and rooms to cover, and we're just beyond excited. Now, the arrival experience to this home is really special. We have the gates opening up to a long driveway lined with trees, and that driveway first takes you to the subterranean level where we have the garage. Now, as soon as you come up to this level, the first thing you recognize is the landscaping, how it surrounds the property and provides so much privacy. It almost sets this calm, zen feeling before you step into the home.
I mentioned that in my last video about this place. What's interesting about this property is that it already feels kind of settled into the hillside where it was built. The vegetation's all super mature and grown in. It makes this house feel much more livable and much more cozy than your average mega mansion.
I want to bring everybody's focus to this side so we can talk about the house itself. It features this striking architecture. I love the use of silver travertine, cantilevered roof lines, motorized awnings, and we have the 2 corners here seamlessly opening up to the outdoors thanks to the 12-foot motorized sliding glass doors. And they also have blinds on the exterior of this property. These blinds reflect the sun, and they also work with the sun, open up and close throughout the day, and we will talk about these blinds later in the video.
Okay, very cool feature with the blinds, how they react to the sun and all that. You're gonna notice there's a lot of motorized stuff in this house, and a motorized sliding glass door, that's kind of standard procedure for a house of this caliber. But I get a little bit concerned when I see all these gadgets throughout the house. A lot of this stuff is pretty cutting edge. It's being done for the first time in this house, which means that there's probably gonna be some bugs to work out, let's face it.
This section of the wall is on a motorized arm, and with a push of a button, you can open up the entire section here and reveal the room that's right behind it, which is a Japanese tea room. I mean, how cool is this? The entire wall effortlessly opens up.
It really is unbelievable. This is an engineering marvel, this door alone. You've got the pivot point right here. It's about 3 feet on this side of the pivot point and 25 plus feet on the outside side of the pivot point. I have no idea how they even pulled that off.
I want to go back out for a second because I want to showcase everyone how cool this front door design is. To my left, we have the biometric reader, so that's your additional security, and you can simply open up this massive door. Please Come on in, and this door opens up to this incredible foyer. The entry of this property, just like the motor court, really sets the tone for what's to come.
When you look at the entrance to this property, and you'll feel this way throughout the tour, I feel like he took a lot of inspiration from five-star resorts. Like, to me, this feels like the entrance that you would experience when you're walking into a nice hotel on vacation, which is good. I mean, that's kind of probably how you want to feel when you're walking into your house too, when you spend this much money, right?
And if we go this way, you can see that foyer flows to this corner section that I talked about earlier, and they designed these custom sofas to wrap the railing and create additional moments for you to just sit down, relax, enjoy the property, enjoy this beautiful backyard, and it doesn't hurt that you also have a reflection pool here to bring that additional zen energy.
That's what's crazy whenever you're designing a property like this, is you don't just design for the architecture and the finishes, but you need to pick out all the furnishings and furnish the house, because it's such a big house with so many unique sized spaces that you basically need to custom make furniture for the entire place and then sell the house furnished. It's the only way to do it.
Coming back to the entry, on the other side, we have the Japanese tea room. In fact, this travertine clad door opens up to that space, and next to that, we have
Travertine clad door. That door must weigh 1,000,000 pounds.
this is actually a pocketing wall, and it goes in to open up the foyer to the office, which is incredible. I mean, there are so many different motorized features in this property, and this is another one, and let's go right.
See, like I said, all these motorized features. Very cool today, not so cool when it breaks.
This office truly has it all. We have a conference table, bar area, seating area, your desk, library that goes up to the second floor. So we got a lot to cover here. We have the double-sided fireplace here, bringing additional warmth. And then we have this beautiful bar with a book-matched marble back wall. And then on the other side, we have this elegant seating area. And of course, no office is complete without a modern desk that is situated on this side. But more importantly, my favorite feature of this office is the fact that we have a 2-story library here.
Just that staircase is a feat in and of itself. It's probably a $25,000 staircase or something that we're looking at. All these little details fitting together so perfectly like this is very tough to pull off.
We have the formal dining room. It's another elegant space with a solid wood table that has an onyx insert right in the center, seating for 14. All these chairs are beautifully leather wrapped with diamond stitching detail. But the coolest aspect of this dining area is the fact that we have this natural stone that's carved and chiseled and turned into a sink. That's a ceiling mount faucet right there. And that way you can just wash your hands before you enjoy your meal, or you can simply plug the drain, fill it with ice, and you can serve your champagne and caviar here.
That is awesome. I'm usually not a fan of like gimmicky details in houses that just feel very out of place, but this chiseled stone thing actually fits perfectly in this space. I love it.
I love these different seating sections, double-sided sofas, beautiful brass coffee tables, books, accessories, candles. Every little thing is so well thought out in this space. It's exquisite, it's warm. And then we have this incredible volume here, nearly 30-foot high ceilings. You can see the landing of the second floor here, beautiful light fixture right in the center, and the pendants that are actually within the light fixtures, those are your additional built-in speakers. Because we have such vast volume here, they didn't want you to compromise when it comes to your listening experience. So they brought additional speakers from the top.
Very clever to bring the speakers closer to your ears. And one thing I found that's interesting about this house too is this is actually the only room that I recall that has volume like this, that has the 30-foot ceilings. Throughout the rest of the house, like the foyer, the dining room, the kitchen area, if you notice, we've got dropped ceilings. But it is nice that he decided to put this one area in the center of the house with this crazy volume. It just makes the whole house feel a lot more grand.
But let's take everybody to the other side so we can talk about this grand staircase, which is so impressive. You can hear the water, see all these different materials, textures, and details. And the fact that this is a spiral staircase that's floating and connecting all 4 levels is amazing. I love this minimalist railing design. Then you have your handrails that are leather wrapped with LED lighting. Each one of your steps are beautifully lit. You have a gorgeous light fixture that is attached all the way to the top floor and flowing right in the center of this spiral staircase.
God, just the sourcing of all of these materials and the coordination of all of the tradesmen who needed to pull just this section alone of the house off blows my mind.
Right behind me, we have those pivoting doors that open up to the grand living room. Now, these doors also feature the exterior blinds that we talked about earlier. So with a push of a button, you can actually close these blinds and provide additional privacy. Not to mention, these blinds also resemble this rose figure, which is super cool. Let's open them back up. And then on top of that, we have the motorized pivot doors opening up the grand living room to the outdoors, which is absolutely insane.
There's so many things in this house that I'm seeing for the first time. Like, not only that blind detail that opens and closes with a push of a button, but the fact that we're looking at three 30-foot tall motorized pivot doors is just absolutely crazy. If you look closely on the ceiling here, it looks like there might be some scraping happening with these doors, or maybe they actually needed to sand down some of that wood above to make this function a little bit better, but not a big deal. Just a little touch up that's needed. Overall, super impressive feature. Talk about a way to wow your friends, right?
Initial design came out of how do we almost build a house within the trees. And what makes this unique and which I can't get any credit for it is the nature around it. The fact that there is no really straight lines in nature. Everything has an organic shape to it, organic form to it. And what the land is essentially a place that was a gift to us. And we are basically want to enhance that gift. We want to make it better and respect it, and that's how we start our design.
If I heard some random architect saying that, I would think, okay, yeah, that's just all for show. Like, that's just a bunch of fancy words, but like, do you really do that in practice? Ardie, on the other hand, with this house, it's like I was saying earlier, he built this house into this lot. He used a lot of the established landscaping that was already existing, and that is one of the biggest things that makes this house special. The finishes are great, the architecture is great, but the landscape and the way that the house kind of like works with the landscape is the most impressive part of this project for sure.
Going this way, before we talk about the bar, I want to cover this section. It gives access to your chef's kitchen, and to our right, we have the elevator landing, and the door on our left opens up to 2 powder rooms for this level.
That's funny, 2 powder rooms. That's when you know you got a house that's built for entertaining, when you have 2 powder rooms right next to each other.
I love how all these different materials and finishes come together in this space. We have travertine, backlit countertops, steel framed glass shelves for all of your glassware and accessories. But the focal point of this bar or this island is the marble sink here. How it's incorporated into the countertop. Instead of a regular faucet, they placed a floor mount tub filler here.
See, here's another one of those things where it's like just the sink detail alone is going to be so challenging to pull off, and it's going to require so much forward thinking. Like, there's water lines running under the floor here to get to this floor mounted faucet. That marble sink is probably completely custom, built one of one for this house. Then that live edge slab countertop is perfectly cut around the sink, with a glass also perfectly cut around that sink. There's like 5 or 6 steps that need to be very carefully followed just for the execution of this little sink at the bar.
Or you can just come over to this side and flow to this amazing show kitchen. Take it all in. We have a cozy seating area, modern cabinetry, marble countertops. I also really like how this space opens back out to the pool area, so it's very interactive. And then we have a floating fireplace here with an open corner, really cozy space.
When it comes to entertaining, it's actually a little underwhelming that this is your main kitchen. The kitchen itself isn't huge, and as said it himself, it's cozy. The materials are absolutely beautiful. I am obsessed with the marble, and obviously this kitchen has everything that you need and then some, but I'm just throwing out one small critique is that for a $177 million house, you kind of want a little bit more of a wow moment in the kitchen, in my opinion.
What an arrival to the lower level of this property. Spiral staircase, travertine floors, board foam concrete walls, and I also really like how they brought the natural elements of water and fire to this level as well. Now, before we see what's behind the camera, I actually want to take everybody this way. We have these floating steps taking you to this circular section. This is where you can see the water feature a little bit closer. And from this angle, this spiral staircase looks so striking. You can really get a feel of its scale and how it's floating right in the center of this massive opening.
You know, the more I see this house, the more I feel like Ardie has kind of used this house as an opportunity to showcase his vision, or like what a visionary he is, but then also showcase the quality and craftsmanship in all of his subcontractors and their ability to execute on that vision. Like, this moment right here is so unnecessary. No homeowner or guest who ever visits this house is ever going to actually come out to this little island and sit in this chair. But the fact that he spent the extra time and energy and money to create this little moment just goes to show that, like, no expense was spared here.
And then space flows to this open seating area, and right in front of us, we have this elegant bar. This bar has a very strong presence with this island design, brass-wrapped columns, backlit countertop, and the screen detail that we've been seeing throughout the property is also incorporated to this bar. And then we have these elegant bar stools that are leather wrapped, and on the back, you can see the reclaimed wood pattern, recessed in TVs, smooth lighting, sculptures, spirits. This is a really elegant space.
After watching this video, I feel like I need to completely relight my own house. He went so crazy with the lighting in every area. You can create all these different moods by turning different lights on, or dimming certain lights, or changing the color temperature of certain lights. And all these lighting details are showcased even more on the lower level like this, because you're not getting that direct sunlight ever in this room, so you can really control the mood of this room with lighting pretty much any time of day.
Let's go back out so we can check out the wellness center, which is absolutely incredible. But before we go in there, I want to talk about this design. We saw this tree in the family room, and this was the tree that fell over from the neighbor's property that Ardie preserved and turned into this really cool feature. Essentially, they wrapped this dead tree with real and full plants and created this colorful, interactive, I'm gonna say art piece, and it looks crazy. It complements this area so well. Never seen anything like it.
Taking a dead tree from the neighbor's house and turning it into an art installation is creative, I guess. I think it's a little extra personally, but I will say, in my previous video, I actually mentioned the neighbor's house and how in all the drone footage that you see in Enes's video, he doesn't showcase that the neighboring house to this house is actually like a huge undeveloped lot that appears to be going under construction at some point soon. I thought you guys might find this interesting. So one of you guys actually reached out regarding that lot next door, and I can't verify this for sure. I wasn't able to find it in like the county records or anything, but apparently Ardie is also the owner of that empty lot next door. If that's true, I think that's a huge selling point for this house, because he's going to kind of be able to control that narrative and be able to tell a potential buyer exactly what will be happening with that neighboring property and when. In my last video, I kind of said that that was something that might deter a lot of buyers. If Ardie actually does own that lot, I think that actually kind of creates a selling point for Villa Siena.
And then we have this glass door leading us to the wellness center. Please come on in. I don't think I've ever seen a space like this in my life. I mean, where do I begin with the details? Just look at how you're being welcomed to this wellness center. It is just so cool. We have this flagstone pattern with astroturf, and then these steps take you to the other side. In fact, Cody, let's go this way. Same mosaic tile that we saw in the main pool, they also have it here. And then your natural stone raised jacuzzi. Behind that, you can see your hot and cold plunge. And again, we have misters, rain heads, shower heads, built-in benches, and you can actually go all the way to the other side where we have a covered seating area with a fire pit.
I'm in awe too, Enes, and here's my thoughts on this room. This looks awesome. This makes for great entertainment on this video, and this absolutely is just another example of Ardie's incredible vision and attention to detail when it comes to the construction process. But you know, if I picture myself actually living in this house or living in a mansion of this caliber, this spa is so crazy and so awesome that it's almost overwhelming. Like, the experience I want whenever I go to the spa is I want to be relaxed. I want to be zenned out. I want to spend a little time in the sauna. I want to hop in the cold plunge, take a shower, and then kind of be done with it. Making the trek down to this room, just like as an everyday user of this house, is a little much, honestly. Like, this would be great if you're in a resort and you've got like maybe a dozen people to enjoy this room at the same time. If you're a single person or a couple and you want to enjoy your spa, you probably would like something a little more intimate. That's just my 2 cents.
In a very different scale, we try to create those kind of connections with other people, provide the platform, a catalyst for those connections.
You want to almost facilitate that even furthermore.
But completely. The objective is to create that experience. And whatever it costs, it costs.
He certainly spared no expense here. You know, I tried really thinking long and hard about how much he possibly could have spent to build this place. Out here in Phoenix, to build a very high-end home, you're probably gonna spend $500, $600, maybe $700 per square foot in construction. California, you can very easily exceed $1,000 per square foot in construction costs. But this place is just so unique and so over the top, and every single square inch of this property, inside and out, is done to the nines. I wouldn't be surprised if he spent upwards of $2,500 a square foot to build this place. So that puts us just in construction costs alone at almost $90 million.
The entry of this room takes you to the different sections of the primary bedroom suite. If you go straight, you can go to the bathroom, but we want to take everybody this way so we can check out the bedroom itself, which is phenomenal. We have the entire corner opening up. Seamless transition to the outdoors. And to take that experience furthermore, you can also open up this massive motorized skylight that is above us. In fact, Cody, let's hit it. Now you're truly immersing yourself to the outdoors and you can simply look up to the sky.
I love how each one of these rooms are appropriately sized. Like, when you're going to bed at the end of the night, you don't want to be in a 5,000 square foot room. You want to be in a room that's appropriately sized for a bedroom. And then the retractable roof, I mean, I cannot even imagine how much it cost him to pull that detail off. I would guess in total, you're talking $500,000 to do that, from the engineering all the way through to the execution and the waterproofing and all that stuff.
Behind this pocket door, we have the primary bathroom. And let me tell you, we have so many details to cover here. It's a room on its own. We have a seating area in the center, fireplace, TV, and then you have all these different corners, sections, features for you to indulge yourself in. We have 2 glass enclosed water closets, and the first closet is actually situated on this side. Let's go right in. Gorgeous island that's right in the center, stone clad with backlighting, and this is where we have the majority of the drawers. Now on the other side, we have this elevated section here with these 2 columns, and on the back of the columns, they have these open shelves that are LED LED.
My concern with a lot of these columns and all these shelves throughout this house, and really any house this size, is just keeping everything clean. Like, if you're living in a 35,000 square foot house, in a house that's very, very custom like this, with all of these different layers and materials and textures and shelves everywhere, you're gonna need to have a cleaning crew at your house basically around the clock. Like, they're gonna need to be constantly cleaning. And that's okay. If you can afford this house, you can afford a cleaning crew. But what's not okay is the privacy issue. Like, are you ever going to be able to feel like you've got your home to yourself when you've got staff around all the time? I don't know.
The doors behind me open up to the main closet of this bedroom, and it is absolutely stunning. Let me take everybody in. This space is a show of its own. I mean, where do I begin with the details? Look at this oversized island with this backlit stone and the vein structure. Then we have this gorgeous light fixture, wood plank ceilings, modern cabinetry with glass fronts. I mean, this is not a walk-in closet. This is a full-blown boutique, and I just love the scale here.
I'm like legitimately smiling, and I don't even care much about closets. I own about this much worth of clothes total. Like, give me a rack that's about this long and I'm good. That's about everything that I own. You're gonna need about $1 million worth of clothes to fill this closet up, but this is a showstopper. We've never seen a closet like this in a house before, and I don't know, we might not ever again.
Welcome to the top floor of this property, where we have an amazing rooftop deck. What makes this space so fun is the fact that we have a massive hangar door here, opening up this enclosed space to the outdoors. And it opens up this landing area to this over 12,000 square foot rooftop terrace, which is absolutely phenomenal. And we're gonna see so many different areas, moments for you to enjoy. Now, the first space we have in front of us is the dance floor.
All I gotta say is whoever buys this house, you better have a lot of friends.
Now, we have this elevated section with a future pool, and there's a nice outdoor seating area here with a fire pit. And the views you get from this section are phenomenal. We have the Bel Air Country Club right in front of us, all this greenery and nature that's around us.
It's interesting, this house is so amazing that as you're going throughout the tour, you don't even realize that this is not a view property. There's not views from anywhere other than that moment right there where he was looking out over the country club. And even those views are kind of weak for LA standards, but this house isn't about the views. This house is about the house.
Gonna keep our tour nice and fast on this level. Elevated section here with another featured pool, lounging beds, seating area on the back, and beautiful olive tree that's right in the center. Then on the back, we have an outdoor kitchen with a gas grill, pizza oven, bar seating, and this is your outdoor dining area.
It's just so much maintenance here on this upper floor, you guys. I'm not trying to be a hater because I love this house, but 12,000 square feet of basically living space on the roof of your house, all this wood deck, all these water features, all these fire features, the countertops, the appliances. Like, this is another part of the house that's just going to need to be constantly upkept and maintained if you want it to continue to look as awesome as it does today.
When the sun starts going down, there's this really truly magical experience starts to happen.
No doubt this property comes alive at night. I'd argue that this house is actually more impressive at nighttime than it is during the day. And what's cool is they didn't overdo it with the light. Like, everything feels appropriately lit throughout this house. So let's get to the $177 million question, and that is Villa Siena worth the asking price? My take on this is maybe. From a price per square foot standpoint, no, they cannot justify this price. There's just no sold comps to support a price of $5,000 per square foot in this area. But the thing is, a house like this is not necessarily going to sell based on real estate comps because this house is a work of art. So it's really going to sell more like a work of art would sell. Like, when you look at the top 10 art pieces that have ever been sold, every single one of them have sold for $170 million or more. And this is literally just for a painting that you're gonna hang on your wall. And yes, you could argue that paintings have this historical value, and you even could argue that paintings are going to appreciate more over the course of, let's say, the next 10 years compared to a spec home that you buy in Bel Air. But come on, if you could have this painting for $186 million, or you could have this house for $177 million, which one would you take? That's a wrap for today's episode, you guys. I want to give one more shout out to Enes for producing an absolutely awesome piece of content on his channel. I'll see you guys next week.